He told me I would only need one bite, just one bite, and my life would change forever. That night, I accepted, drunk, lost, desperate. And now I run for my life. You never think about what will happen afterward. You never think about the price. You only see the promise, the easy way out. And when you realize what you've done, it's already too late. The first time I felt that growing inside me, the anger, the hunger, the smell of blood, I thought I was going crazy. But it wasn't madness. It was real. And now, every time I look at the full moon, I know there's no escaping it. I've seen what I can do. I've seen what I've become. And I know what will happen when the full moon rises again. You don't understand. All I wanted was to change my life. And now, all I want is to survive the next full moon. Before all of this, before the curse, before the full moon hunted me like a demon, I was just a nobody, just another guy trying to survive in a god-forsaken town. My name is Marcus. I lived in one of those places no one knows about. One of those where everyone knows everyone else's business, and no one cares about anyone. I worked at a dirty gas station, earning a salary that barely paid for weekend beer. And when I wasn't there, I was running from debts, loan sharks, and myself. Dream? Oh, I dreamed all right. I dreamed of disappearing from there, of being someone, of having something worthwhile. I just didn't know how much I'd pay for that desire. It was on one of those nights, when boredom and anger mixed with alcohol, that I met him. The guy who changed everything. He was different, like he didn't belong there. You know when someone walks into a room and it feels like the air changes? That was him. A steady gaze, a smile that didn't show teeth, and a calmness that made me uneasy.
Do you want to change your life?
He asked, as if he could read my mind. At that moment, I laughed. Of course I wanted to. Who doesn't? But when he kept talking, when he said that the price was something I wouldn't even feel now, I should have gotten up from that table and left. But I stayed. I listened, because deep down I wanted to believe it was possible. And it was that night, that cursed night, that my life ended. And another began. I should have left. I should have ignored that look. But the way he spoke, as if he knew every part of my life, kept me glued to that chair. He said it was a contract, a pact, a simple deal, according to him. I would get what I wanted, and in exchange, a favor in the future. That's all, he said. A favor. At that moment, I could only think of one thing: getting out of that miserable life, having power, money, respect. The price didn't matter. I was already at rock bottom, right? What could be worse? That strange man pulled a sleek black pen from his pocket and placed it in front of me without saying a word. I signed, without even asking what that favor was, without asking what would happen afterward. I just wanted to see the world respect me for once. He handed me a small vial, nothing more than a drop of a thick red liquid inside. I poured it into my whiskey, drank it in one gulp, and he told me,
Now all you have to do is wait. The night will bring you what you asked for, Marcus.
I left there thinking nothing would happen, thinking it was all just a prank. But when I got home, that's when it all began. The transformation. My body, my mind, everything was changing. A pain that felt like it was tearing me apart from the inside. And the only thing echoing in my head was that voice. The night will bring you what you asked for. I thought it was a fever, or maybe some kind of poison. Something that would pass. But the following days were hell. I would wake up drenched in sweat, my entire body aching, as if I had been running for hours. But the worst were the nightmares. I saw everything in my dreams. I was running through that forest, hunting, and killing. But when I woke up, I thought it was just a dream. But then I started finding marks, scratches on my body, deep cuts I didn't remember making, my hands covered in blood, and I didn't know whose it was. And then came the first full moon, the night everything changed. That night, I woke up in the middle of the forest, miles from home. My clothes torn, my body covered in dried blood, and the worst part, 2 people had gone missing that night, and no one ever saw them again. The whole town started talking about something attacking in the darkness. But I knew what it was. But I couldn't admit it. I clung to the hope that it was just a bad dream, a delusion. But deep down, I knew it was real. And with each passing day, I felt it growing inside me, like a beast waiting to break free. And I knew, on the next full moon, something worse was coming. I knew there was no escaping it anymore. That thing inside me, that thing I refused to accept, was growing stronger every day. I needed answers. I needed to understand what I had become. I started digging through everything I could, ancient legends, forgotten accounts, anything that could explain what I was going through. That's when I found stories of creatures that hunt at night, cursed by the moon. Werewolves, half man, half beast. I didn't want to believe it, but it all made sense. The marks, the dreams, the blood. Then I hear the door creaking. I'm panting. A shadow passes quickly in the background. And that night, I met him. A mysterious man in a black coat, leaning in the shadows. He lights a cigarette, the glow partially illuminating his face, intense eyes, a deep gaze, and he says,
"You shouldn't be messing with this kid."
I was nervous, panting, but the man was calm, like someone who knew everything that was going on. So I asked, "Who are you?"
"Someone who's been in your place before. You were bitten, weren't you? That night, in the forest."
I don't know what happened there."
"Then let me tell you what's going to happen. From now on, every full moon you'll lose control. You'll hurt people, innocent people."
I had quick flashes of attacks, screams, blood. I covered my ears, trying not to hear another word. It was like a punch to the gut. I wanted him to be lying, but I knew it was true. The man stepped closer and closer, looking into my eyes, and said,
"And there's one more thing you need to know, kid. There's a creator, the first one, who started this centuries ago when he made a pact for eternal life, but ended up cursed. He's the one who started all of this, and he's closer than you think."
A creator? Someone who did this to me? The mysterious man turned his back and disappeared into the shadows. At that moment, I knew. The only way to end this was to find the one who started it all. But what I didn't know was what awaited me on the way. After that night, after that conversation with the stranger, I knew what I had to do. I couldn't deny it anymore. If I wanted to survive, if I wanted to protect the people I loved, I had to fight against what was inside me. I rented an old hidden warehouse, far from the city, to keep myself away from everything and everyone. Inside, there were only a few lit candles, ancient books, weapons, chains. It was there, in that forgotten place, that I began to understand what I was, and more importantly, how to try to control the beast. Silver, scars that never heal, ancient herbs capable of calming the transformation, chains, if all else fails. In front of me, a .38 caliber revolver with a silver bullet inside. If I lose control, that's what will stop me. With hearing 100 times sharper than a normal human's, I hear footsteps behind me. That man again.
You're starting to understand what it's like to live like this, but reading books won't save you, kid. The full moon is coming.
Then teach me. If you know so much, tell me how I stop this.
You can't stop it, but you can survive and fight against what's trying to take over. First, you need to know the pain. Face what you are. Only then will you have a chance. You'll chain yourself up, and when the moon rises, you'll feel the transformation. You'll feel the beast inside you trying to break free, and then you'll see if you can hold it back.
The man threw a heavy chain on the ground, the sound echoing through the warehouse. I knew it could kill me, but it was the only chance to understand what I had become, to maybe control it. Every loop of the chain was like a reminder that I was no longer just human, but still, I would fight. Time passed. The ticking of the clock on the wall was maddening. It was almost midnight. The man told me that when it started, I shouldn't fight the pain, just feel it. If I denied it, it would destroy me. The full moon appeared in the sky. The first signs of the transformation emerged. Eyes changing color, veins bulging, teeth growing, heart rate accelerating, ragged breathing, low growls beginning to escape my throat. The pain of my bones breaking and regenerating in place was unbearable. I could only think of one thing. If I survive this night, I'll find the Creator, and I'll make him pay. Nothing in the world could have prepared me for what happened that night. I thought I was ready. I thought chaining my body would hold back the monster. But it's not the body that turns into a beast. It's the soul. Hold on. Hold on. You can do it, I repeated in my mind. The sound of bones breaking, fingers stretching, claws slowly growing. It was as if every bone in my body was on fire, as if my skin wanted to tear itself apart from the inside. And the worst, that voice in my head, calling me, telling me to let go, to let it happen. I remember the man watching me from afar. "Fight, fight, kid, you can do it," he said. "Get out of me, get out of my head." It was as if one part of me wanted to devour the other, the beast against the man, and me in the middle, being torn in two. I thought I was going to die, or worse, that I would become that forever. It was a frenzy. I could hear footsteps and smell the blood of people still inside them from miles away, until I passed out. I hear in the distance someone trying to wake me up. Marcus, wake up, it's already morning." It felt like my body had been run over by a truck. There was pain everywhere, but the thirst for blood was terrible. It was at that moment that I realized I would never be the same again. But I wasn't going to give up either. Now I knew what was inside me. It was time to hunt down the one who did this. Weeks passed, and whenever the full moon was near, I would chain myself in that warehouse, until one night, everything changed. I was beginning to understand that the curse wasn't just mine, but also my chance to survive, and maybe to destroy the one who trapped me. I was walking through the forest when I heard someone. "Who's there? Show yourself." A man with a wild appearance, claw marks on his skin and glowing eyes. He appeared like a shadow, his eyes glinting with a light that wasn't human. He was there somehow, watching me, waiting for me to notice his presence.
Do you think you're alone in this? Do you really believe the curse has no more masters?
"Who are you? What do you want from me?"
I'm not your enemy, kid. I've been searching for the creator of our kind for over 150 years, ever since I was cursed. I'm someone who, like you, is bound to this immortal fate. I am part of what you've become. My name is Valentin. The truth you don't yet understand, kid, is that we are just pieces in a much larger game. What you think is freedom is just the illusion of someone who hasn't seen the truth.
I knew he wasn't normal, but I couldn't deny the feeling that he knew something I still didn't understand. I could see that he had truly been living this for much longer than I had. I don't want to know about any game. I just want to end the creator, and whoever is behind this.
Do you think ending the creator will set you free? Do you think it will end the pain? The real battle ... isn't against him. It's against what you'll become. The curse has no end, Marcus. Not for you, not for me. It shapes us, destroys us, and makes us part of it. And the creator only grows stronger.
I don't accept that. I'll break free from this curse.
You can fight, but remember, fighting the full moon is fighting your own nature. With every moon, you'll feel it more and more.
He disappeared as quickly as he appeared, but his words lingered. It was as if each word had been a seed planted in my mind. And what unsettled me the most was that I knew he was right. I was only beginning to understand what I would become. But one thing was certain. That wouldn't be the last time I crossed paths with him. Fate seemed to have more to show me. Something was happening to me. Something I couldn't control. With each passing night, I felt the transformation taking over. The monster inside me was growing stronger, more hungry. I can't let this control me. I am not this. But that feeling of immortality, of claws tearing through walls and trees like paper, the hunger was growing stronger. The sound of beating hearts, the truth was inevitable. I was losing the battle. The beast inside me was taking control. And, no matter how hard I tried to resist, its strength was greater than I could imagine. With each transformation, it was getting easier. I was enjoying it more, becoming more ferocious. I am a monster. I'm no longer human. The physical pain was no longer unbearable. It was the emotional pain. Every second I felt the monster taking more space in my mind. The beast wasn't just something that inhabited my body. It was consuming me from within. I repeated over and over, I am stronger than this. I am stronger than you. Then it was the night of the full moon. I was no longer chained, and I reached the edge of a river. I saw my reflection in the moonlight. I saw myself in that moment, on the edge of the abyss, about to succumb. It wasn't just my body that was transforming, but my mind, what I am. It didn't matter anymore. I didn't know if I was still Marcus. I didn't know who I was anymore. I am not this. I can't be this. I can't. It was as if a force greater than me was forcing me to embrace what I feared. I had no control. I was being dragged into the depths, not by an external force, but by the beast inside me. I am the beast. I am the hunter. And in that moment, something changed within me. I accepted the monster. I knew this battle wasn't meant to be won. It was meant to be lived. I was the beast now, and the full moon no longer controlled me. My transformation was complete until I heard, kilometers away, heavy footsteps, calm but strong breathing. I ran swiftly through the forest until I found this other being. When I arrived, I was faced with another werewolf standing there in front of me. I didn't know if this would make me feel more human or more monster. But in that moment, I knew there was something more in me, something that was still at war, and that war would be eternal. I had accepted the beast within me, but deep down, I knew the fight wasn't over. Something more was lurking in the darkness, and I was about to discover it in the most brutal way. It wasn't just any creature. It was something more, something that had come to hunt me. It was as if it had emerged from the deepest nightmare. A tall being with glowing red eyes and claws like knives. Its skin was dark as night, and its sharp teeth reflected the moonlight. The creature approaches with supernatural speed. I leap to the side to defend myself. I feel the anger in the other creature's eyes. The battle was brutal. I was fighting the beast that once only existed within me. Now, I was testing my limits, trying to control the monster I had become, but it seemed to control me more than I wanted to admit. With renewed strength, I managed to strike the creature, making it retreat. But it quickly rises, even more furious. "Who are you? What do you want from me?" Then it said, "You don't know? I thought you were smarter, Marcus. That one is my successor." It was him, the creator. Not just the man who cursed me, but the one who still haunted me, even after his death. The creature before me was a copy of him, a distorted version, a shadow of his essence. The creature smiles with a cruel grin. Its red eyes glow intensely. I begin to realize that it's not just a physical enemy, but something more complex. I start to feel the weight of my own curse. You. It was you all along. I wasn't going to run anymore. I knew what I had to do. The creature in front of me was no longer a threat. It was a reminder. What I had become, what I had been condemned to be, and I had to defeat it. Not just to save myself, but to finally understand what the Creator had done to me. I will end you, and everything you stand for. The final blow is struck, the sound of flesh being torn. The creature falls. I step back, looking at the destroyed body. But deep down, I know this isn't the end. Something greater still awaits me. The battle was won, but the victory felt hollow. What I had destroyed wasn't just a creature, but a part of myself. I knew that, even after all this, the curse wouldn't disappear. I am not free. I don't know if there's an end to this, but for now, I am the only hunter. After the battle, the weight of the truth became unbearable. The Creator, the one who had forged my curse, wasn't just a man. He was part of something much greater, something that transcended human understanding. And now, I was about to discover the connection between our story and the fate of all. I killed the creature, but the curse, it won't disappear. Something more is happening here. Days later, my instincts led me to a cave where I discovered ancient arcane symbols. I was facing the truth. The wall, with its symbols and inscriptions, wasn't just a relic. It was a portal that connected the past of my creation to the future I had tried to avoid. The inscriptions begin to glow, emitting a blinding light. The wall opens as if it were alive. What's happening? What do you want from me? Then I hear that voice.
You have always been the chosen one, Marcus. The only question is, what will your next move be?
It was him, the Creator, but not in flesh and blood. He was more than that. He existed in something greater, something that transcended dimensions. He was the reason behind it all.
The curse you carry is not just yours. You were created to be an extension of what I am. You are the link between worlds, the guardian of the lost lineage. But now you will have to choose between destroying everything that is yours or accepting what is to come.
I won't be your slave. I will destroy you. I was trapped, my will crushed under the weight of the truth. The Creator wasn't just a man. He was the force that had shaped everything. I had been just a piece of a cosmic game I didn't understand. And now, I was part of it. I can't.
It's too late, Marcus. The choice was made the moment you found me. You are just fulfilling your destiny.
I didn't know if it was my end or a new beginning, but one thing was clear. Everyone's fate was intertwined. Not just mine, but everyone who existed. The Creator's lineage was older than I could imagine. I didn't choose, but my destiny chose me. The darkness spread, and the silence was more deadly than any scream. Marcus was lost, surrounded by a void he couldn't comprehend. The fight against the Creator, the battle he never asked for, was now inevitable. He no longer knew who he was or what he should do. The only thing left was to face destiny, or succumb.
Do you think you can defeat me, Marcus? You were made to be my extension. Every act of yours, every move was calculated. You cannot escape what you are.
The Creator now stands before me, physically, far more terrifying than I ever imagined. You won't control me. I am more than you think. I'm no longer a puppet. I realized in that moment that the true power wasn't in the Creator's hands. He only had control because I allowed it. He had shaped me, but he didn't possess my spirit. My spirit was free, unbreakable. And it was in that moment that I realized my greatest challenge, to choose between destruction or liberation. I am not your creation. I am my own will. I choose to be free. That brutal beast came at me with its claws and I charged at it. I was no longer just a werewolf. I had grown stronger since the first day. I was the only one who could free everyone. Everyone from the pain. Everyone from being a puppet. It struck me between the chest and the jugular. Blood everywhere. I fell, agonizing, hearing the Creator's voice in my mind, telling me I was nothing but a small part of him. He was about to deliver the final blow, tearing out my heart. Suddenly, I remembered everything I had been through, from the beginning, the pact, the life I lived, why I was there. With a brutal attack, I tore the Creator's hand away from the curse, but I was weak, turning human again, frail and powerless. The Alpha, walking slowly toward me. Suddenly, I looked at the jacket I was wearing and took it off to transform, and in it, I saw the only thing that could stop me. A .38 caliber revolver with the only silver bullet left. Almost agonizing, I mustered a bit of strength and shot the Alpha. The sound of the gunshot echoed through the cave. I hit him in the chest. What was meant to stop me ended up saving me. The fight was finally over. Not just against the Alpha, but against everything I thought I was. When the cave collapsed, it took with it the weight of all that had been. And I was free. Free to decide what I would become. Free to write my own destiny. I am no longer the monster I was. But what am I now? What is a man without the weight of his choices, but with the echo of everything he has lived? The future was no longer a burden, but a blank canvas. I knew I would have to deal with the consequences of what had happened. The curse doesn't die so easily. But now I had something I never had before. A choice. The freedom to live. To start over. I wonder if I am the only one, or if somehow there are others like me, waiting to be freed. The full moon is not the end. It is only the beginning. I knew the end of my journey didn't mean the end of everything. Were there others like me? Others who had been consumed by the darkness, waiting for the chance to break free? And what else would it take to destroy the evil once and for all? The answer wasn't clear, but I knew one thing. The full moon would always come again. I'm ready for the next full moon, to face whatever comes. Because now, I am the master of my destiny. But I felt something when I was with the Creator. In truth, he wasn't the Creator himself, just the first of our kind, the first cursed one. Now, I am the Alpha, and I will hunt down the one who cursed us.